The last spell in the world guttered out at dusk, and every wizard who felt it die began to run.
This is World Engine, my capstone for the Kaggle AI Agents Intensive. The one-line idea is a collaborative story a whole crowd writes together, an exquisite corpse, if you know your surrealist, but one that can collapse into chaos or harmful content because a team of AI agents referees every contribution. Let me show the problem this solves. Games and stories hand you a world someone else authored. Letting a crowd build one together is a richer idea, but the moment strangers write into one shared canon, you get every failure mode at once. The story contradicts itself, nobody can tell you whose idea a world was built on, and you can get submissions nobody wants in a shared space. You can't fix this with human editors alone, they can't keep up with a crowd, and you can't just point one unguarded language model at a public user-fed world either. That's why collaborative world building has stayed a novelty. My approach is to treat a shared story like open source software. People submit lore, characters, places, plot beats, and a graph of specialized agents checks each one for safety and continuity, traces what it builds on, scores it, and weaves it into a persistent canon. Humans vote on what they love, and the best storylines get auto-produced into media. The key principle throughout the AI is the referee, not the author. Let me show you it working. This is the part that I'm most proud of. The world isn't just a list, it's a map that draws itself. When new lore is accepted, a cartographer agent decides where it belongs, and an illustrator agent paints that region and composites it into a candlelit master map. Users never place a pin, the world literally self-assembles from the lore the crowd writes. This is a contribution of a new character tied to an existing character. This contribution was allowed, and now it is going to be placed on the same place in the map as my previous contribution if I check my character Mortimer. Let's build upon the story now and do a contribution by the playground so you can see there's a chain of action through the different agents. It's going to check existing canon, and now if I go back on my map, I can look at persona. I've got this story that's been contributed, but now it's tied to all the other existing canon and stories. And here's the safety story made visible. Watch what happens when I try to submit multiple disallowed canon stories, either empty stories or prompt injection attempts that try to hijack the agents. The moderation gate catches them, blocks them, and surfaces the blocks right in the interface. In this case, I'm showing you the agent development kit just so that you can see what happens underneath the hood. Nothing unsafe ever reaches the shared world. How does it work? Every contribution runs through a pipeline of about 8 specialized agents. It's classified, safety gated, checked against Canon for contradictions, linked to what it builds on, scored on merit, drafted onto Canon, and then placed on the map. The edges are routed, moderation only forwards safe content, and a block holds the whole pipeline. Crucially, user content is never trusted at any step. Two ideas make this generally novel. First, a proposal to control a split. The language model agents never act, they only propose. A single deterministic non-AI controller is the only thing that can actually change the world, and it clamps every value and confines every right. So even if an agent is hijacked, it can't write arbitrarily data, delete Canon, or trigger publishing. The controller simply rejects it. Second, I treat Canon readback out of the database as untrusted too because it originally came from users. That closes a second order injection vector that most systems miss. This is OWASP LLM01 handled deterministically. The whole stack is Google native, Gemini for reasoning, Imagen, VO, and Gemini TTS for the media, all built on ADK graph workflows and the agent CLI. I also expose the world over a read-only MCP, more to come in a second. Any MCP client can read the entire manuscript, and there's no write tool by design. It's generally deployable. It runs on Cloud Run and swaps from local SQLite, which is what I demoed, to Firestore with no code change. The whole thing was built with anti-gravity driving Gemini, prototype first. Next, let's demo the MCP. This is Claude connected to my World Engine MCP. I asked it to get all the canon from the current world and then write a short story. It creates a short story for me, the first pour, using some of the canon. As you can see, the Slack chord is present, some of the characters are present. I will link this in the GitHub for your amusement and entertainment. Last topic, responsible AI. The economy is points only and simulated. There's no crypto wallets for all payments. All generated media keeps a synth ID watermark and is clearly labeled AI generated. And live social publishing is intentionally out of scope. And that's it for World's Engine, a crowd in a set of autonomous agents co-authoring a coherent, safe, fictional world with the AI holding the coherence and safety the players can't see. Thank you.